Welcome to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Christine Furman, a homeschool mom, entrepreneur, and educator with over 20 years of experience in the areas of elementary and special education. It's my mission to help you create lifelong learners and embrace a holistic approach to education at home. I'll be sharing practical strategies, inspiration, and resources to support your family. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a business owner, or balancing work and homeschool, you're in the right place to connect with a community that values education just as much as you do. Join us each week as we ditch the stress, embrace the joy of learning, and set your family up for a lifetime of success. Hey friend, welcome back to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Christine Furman, your home education expert. Last week, I shared about my true purpose and reason for homeschooling and the skills that I really want my kids to take away from our experience. Well, today we're diving into part 2 of what I really want my kids to know, and I'll be sharing actual situations that have happened in my home with my kids and reflecting on the importance of those situations. Every little thing that we say and do impacts our children. And we're going to discuss this more in this episode, but it is so very true. Well, last week I asked, what is something you really want your kids to take away from their homeschooling journey or in this season of life? Because you may be a homeschool family, you may be thinking about it. Do I want to homeschool? I do want to homeschool, but I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. What if I don't do it well enough? Or you're just kind of navigating this and you just really want to provide your children with a good educational foundation. And this is a perfect place to start. So what is it that you really want your kids to take away and have as they navigate life? So be sure to join that conversation in the Home Education with Ease Facebook group. But this week, what I would love to know is, what ways are you building confidence and independence in your kids? Are there situations? Are there problem solving opportunities? And I'm going to share some ideas in this episode. But I want to just say, if you are looking for more and you want to ensure that your kids are well-rounded, I encourage you to check out the Home Education with Ease Collective. It's launching soon in May, and it's a space where we'll come together to make homeschooling simpler, more joyful, and deeply rooted in what matters most. Think about these situations. How are we building confidence in our kids? How are we instilling independence? How are we setting them up for life? Stay tuned because I'll be sharing more about this at the end of our episode here. But for now, let's dive into my deep purpose on homeschooling. So I just want to share being compassionate, authentic, and teachable are characteristics that will go very far for anyone. For us personally as adults, for our children, think about situations. If we're compassionate in a situation, we're probably going to be able to reach and be able to connect with people on a deeper level. If we are our true, authentic self, we are able to show others truly what we are about and who we are with no filters, no, nothing blocking that, just truly being authentic. And then teachable. If you are able to learn and are willing to learn, there's no stopping you. You can do anything. So keep these things in mind. Compassionate, authentic, teachable. I know I want those skills for my own kids. What about for you? Do you want those skills for your kids? Maybe even for yourself? I think those are some good skills that we can start really building for our children. So let's think about this. Our strong connections are built within our homes and with others around us. I truly believe it starts at home, for sure. Those relationships within the home are so important. How we treat each other, how we speak to each other, how we handle situations. And this goes for everyone in the home. How my spouse and I, my husband and I, we speak to each other, whether it's in front of the kids or not. How I speak to Ella and Alex, how they speak to each other, how we all speak to anyone that we encounter, a neighbor, a family member, a stranger, someone at the grocery store. All of those moments are so very important. Every encounter that we have, our children are watching. And it's so important. I remember when Ella and Alex were young and we went to a party, 4th of July party or something. And I remember leaving and said to Dan, that's not the environment that I want our kids around. And you have to have those conversations. You have to make those choices. You get to decide what are the situations, who are the people you want your kids around. If you don't believe in certain things, if you don't want your children exposed to certain things, then you make that choice and that decision. You set up those boundaries. Are they difficult? Absolutely. Is it hard? Sure. But as we navigate different seasons of life, there's going to be the ebb and flow of people that come in and come out. And you decide what's most important for your family. So really, I believe our words are so powerful. And what we say is so important, and how we say it. I've said it for years. And I take this way back to my grandmother, my nana, and my dad, just really instilling how important our words are, how much they speak life. And we want to speak life. We want to speak life in all areas to our children. We want to build them up, telling them they can accomplish things. We really try to remove the negative in our house by encouraging each other and using uplifting words, by speaking kindly to each other, by apologizing often. And let's be real here. Sometimes we say things that we don't mean, or maybe they come out wrong. And sometimes things are really just frustrating, right? It happens to us, all of us. It happens to me. I say things that later on I apologize for because either I was frustrated, I just let the heat of the moment get to me. And I've even apologized to my husband in front of my children. And I've even had conversations with my children about the way that I reacted to something that my husband said. Because I want them to know, yes, I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. And I have to apologize for those mistakes. And then it's not just about saying I'm sorry, but it's about learning from that mistake and saying, you know what? I'm going to try really hard not to do that again. It might happen again, but I'm going to try hard not to. So just allowing our kids to see, you've got to apologize. And what does that look like? Because that's hard. I remember when Alex was younger, that was hard for him. He didn't like to accept that he was wrong. I don't know. I don't know why it was difficult, but it really was hard for him. And we just had to keep practicing it and saying, you have to apologize for your actions. We are not perfect. And just continuing to model that for him has really helped him. So another thing that we do within our house is we constantly ask each other, how can I help you? I've been instilling this in Ella and Alex because I want them to be the helper. I want them to just constantly ask someone, how can I help you? You go to a party, ask how you can help them. You go to an event, how can I help you? You go to someone's house, just putting that out there, that helpfulness. And sometimes people say, no, I don't need any help. But that question of like, wow, you thought to ask me for help, that makes a huge difference. And I have a little story about that here soon. But everyone in our house helps out. They help out with the chores, the housework, work, school. We all work together. Are there moments that I feel like it's all on me? Sure. I'm a mom, right? We wear many hats: homeschool mom, business owner, wife, friend. There are times it's getting easier that I don't feel that way. Now, my kids are, growing up. They're now 10 and 8. So it is getting a little easier. But I remember those moments of feeling like, oh my gosh, everything is on my shoulders. When am I going to get a break? When is someone going to see all that I'm doing? Because this is hard. And it is hard. But you can do amazing things. And by including everyone in that process, by giving them a task at a very young age, allows them to really become independent. It allows them to start asking. So when the kids were young, if they made a mess on the table, I would say, okay, go grab the spray, go grab a paper towel, clean it up. Is it going to be perfect? Absolutely not. And I wasn't looking for perfection at that time. I was looking to teach them skills. How can they help? They can help right where they're at. So recently, we just preparing our house to rent it out for the Masters Golf Tournament in Augusta, Georgia here. And it's a big job. It's a big job to get your house ready for someone else to stay at your house and make sure that it looks pristine. So it took a lot of time to declutter things in our house, to redecorate, to making sure that it like looks with a little bow on it, right? Like we've gone through and we were fine with the way things were, but it was like, this is just not the way I'm envisioning it. So how can we change it up? New rugs, new lamps, new end tables, right? Little things like that, that a lot of times we could care less about as you're going day to day. But when you are really having a big event or something like this, it was like, we need to up our game just a little bit. So we did that. And it was a lot of work for everyone. There were tasks, like small jobs around the house that needed fixed. And kudos to my husband for being able to fix them all. That was amazing. And I realized as, I talk with other people, that is not always the case. I grew up, my dad is a mechanic by trade, and he was able to fix anything. If something broke, he fixed it. And when I got with my husband, same thing. Something broke, he fixed it. But as I talk to other people, they're like, oh, you got lucky because my husband or my boyfriend or whoever, my dad, like they can't do anything. They can't fix things. We have to pay someone. And I was like, wow. And I remember one time I asked Dan, like, just call the plumber. You tried. We're really busy. Just call the plumber and see, what's wrong with this leaky pipe. They did not fix the problem. My husband did a better job. And then we had to pay someone to do it that didn't even solve the problem that we had. So I'm definitely learning slowly but surely that it is a blessing to have my husband to be able to fix things. So that was one of the biggest things, was just getting those small jobs done around the house. I would say something like, all right, here's our list. And he's like, okay, check it off, check it off, check it off. And I was like, whoa, that was faster than I could even do it myself, or not do those tasks, but like do the other things that I needed to do. And that was the other thing. It was like decluttering the kids' rooms, our bedrooms, taking things out that were personal. So we had to do all that. We had to clean. And let me tell you, I totally underestimated how long it takes to clean, really clean a house. So as we were cleaning the house, the kids constantly asked, this is where the whole story is going to. The kids were constantly asking, how can I help you? And sometimes I may not have had a task for them. Sometimes I was trying to do too many things at one time that I was like, I really don't know right now, but come back and see me in about 10 minutes and I'll have something for you to do. And that really helped to reduce the stress of us getting ready for this big event because I knew that they were right there willing to help. And they did. And we all worked together as a family of four, and we had a friend helping us as well. But we worked together and we got the house ready. And man, the pride that we had, and even the kids looking at their rooms and saying, wow, we did that. We vacuumed, we dusted, we cleaned the windows. Am I going to always do that? Probably not. It was a lot of work, but it was a great skill for them to see that they accomplished this task and they were able to walk away and felt very proud of the work that they did. And Alex, he was on the inventory task. He loved it. We made little welcome baskets and little baskets in the bathrooms, and he did the inventory of what goes in each basket, made sure that they were all set up properly, and that was like his task, and he was so excited for that. And Ella, I asked her, I said, hey, can you look up a video and figure out how to make the toilet paper on the toilet paper roll look fancy? And she did it. And it looked beautiful. And it's just those little moments that we all came together instead of me feeling like everything was on my shoulders. That it was like, oh my goodness, this was so nice. So I just really encourage you, mom, grandma, aunt, whoever, friend, whoever's listening today, to keep that in mind. Instill these little tiny bits of independence in your kids with little tasks. It doesn't have to be a big task. Folding toilet paper or putting snacks in a basket, they're not big tasks, but they took those jobs seriously and they did them well because they wanted to make sure that I was proud. They wanted to make sure that we did a good job. And those skills did not just happen overnight. Them helping around the house, them cleaning the windows or vacuuming, those things didn't happen overnight. No, those are skills that we've been working on for a long time. And now we're starting to see a lot of those benefits. So keeping those things in mind that, the things that we're doing every day, that they're watching us. Ella today came in and had a little checklist of all the things that she wanted to get completed as she reorganized her room. It just made me smile from ear to ear. I have checklists all over the place. And I just love seeing them take those little things that I've taught them and use them. So then that way they can accomplish their own tasks. The other thing is just showing up for each other, being each other's biggest fans, and cheering each other on no matter what. If I have a hard day at work or with tasks that I have going on, they're right there to cheer me up. Here, mom, let me play your favorite music. Here, let me go get your favorite drink. Hey, let's go for a walk. And then telling Ella and Alex, I remember this from a friend that I worked with when I was teaching. She said, tell your kids that they're best friends from day one. And I have a boy and a girl, and she had a boy and a girl. So is it different with different genders? It might be, right? But in my case, I have a girl and I have a boy. And I just constantly would tell them, you are best friends. This is your best friend. You're going to have friends come and go, but this is your best friend. And I would have them tell me, who's your best friend? And they would repeat it. And if they got into an argument, We talk it out. We figure out what happened. Why are you upset with each other? Let's figure that out and let's compromise. Let's find the solution. I remember when they were little and they wanted to watch a show, they would have to ask each other. I would, have them ask them if that's okay. Do they want to watch this show? And they had to compromise. They had to, come up with a decision together. And that was so important. So I remember a few weeks ago, our pastor spoke on the dynamics of our house and how that affects our kids, ourselves, and how we react and treat each other. And I just remember sitting there just like so grateful that I have the opportunity to raise my kids in a home that is less reactive, that is all about communication. Do we have it totally down pat? No. There are still moments I say, I wish we communicated better. Sure, we're all learning, we're all growing, but we are way less reactive. And I contribute that a lot to my husband, that I can be all worked up and all upset, and he is right there to decompress. So I hope that you have a situation like that in your home where one is able to decompress while maybe the other is stressed, and vice versa, because it's really important to balance each other out. And talking about emotions too, it's really important to be paying attention to emotions. So my husband and I, we talk about my cycle and we talk about, when and why I may be acting a certain way. Do I love it? No. But right now it's the reality of what's going on in my body. And some days I'm a little bit more moody than others. And we just have to have those conversations. So then that way we know what's going on. So then that way I also could understand my own emotions and say, oh, I know why. I have little to no patience right now. And I just need to go take a break. And teaching our kids this as well. It's very important. Letting them know, like, all right, listen, I need a break. I right now am frustrated or I'm overwhelmed. And I don't like to use that word overwhelmed, but them knowing that like something is just off in their body. And I like teaching them too about their nervous system and regulating it. I'm just have my toes dipped in that right now, learning more and more about it myself. But just trying to teach them instead of, reacting and be in a place of like, go, go, go. Like my body is like up here. I always tell them like, you're up high. Your frustration and your emotions are way up high. And I want it to just be even, and just having them understand that instead of going up and down so drastically, but trying to be a little bit more even with their emotions. It's a learning curve. They're going to have to learn that stuff. I have to learn that stuff. I didn't learn that when I was younger. So helping my kids to understand that now is such a beautiful thing. And the same thing with my cycle, being able to learn that now and know that there are different levels with my hormones and being able to teach that to Ella is just going to be huge. And if you are interested in more in that, I did do an episode on that. I'll make sure to link that in the show notes below. So one of the things that I was able to see and take in during our day was Ella. Okay, one day we were just going about our normal day, doing school, I was working, we were home, and I just noticed Ella was a little bit off. Now she is getting into that, you know, preteen stage. I totally understand that. But something was just off. And I was like, what is wrong? And everything was upsetting her at that time. Her schoolwork was upsetting her. Her chores were upsetting her. Everything that we said was just upsetting. And I was like, what is going on? So I knew, though, something was wrong. And instead of disciplining the behavior and the attitude and whatever was happening, I said, no, no, no. We need to talk about this. Because if I were to discipline, it would only cause the frustration to get worse. So we stopped and we talked about it. Alex went downstairs and made us lunch, and Ella and we sat upstairs and we just talked. And it took a little bit of time, but sometimes we just have to let them express their emotions. Say, hey, what's going on? Why are you feeling this way? Did something cause this? Did you see something that's upsetting you? Did a situation upset you? So you can ask those kind of open questions, allowing them to kind of think and take in what happened. And eventually she shared that she felt pressure. And at that time, I remember distinctly, at that moment, I did not feel stressed in any way. I did not feel overwhelmed. I felt like, okay, we have a list of things to do. We need to get these things done. But I did not feel that pressure. But what she was feeling was the pressure. She was seeing the list. She was hearing the words. And she just took all that pressure of like, how are we going to get this all done? There's so many things to get done on this to-do list, and it's only a small amount of time. What are we going to do? So then I had to talk her down. And I had to say, oh, sweet girl, this list is not for you to take on like that. But it's so easy to see how we can let those emotions kind of take over. How if I were to feel overwhelmed and stressed, it's easy for them to also feel that. So we have to talk to them about how can they express their emotions? How can they let out what's going on in a clear way? And talking about them. So then that way they can express them and say like, Mom, this list right now, it's too much for me right now. And we just had that experience yesterday where, we were resetting our room after kind of taking all the stuff out of it. And by the end of the evening, we already had a full day and she still had some more to do. And she said, this is just too much. I need to take a break. I said, great. There's no pressure. There's no timeline here. Of course, we want the house back in order, but our mental state and capacity is so much more important than that. And if we need breaks, if we need to say, you know what, I need to wake up tomorrow with a fresh mind to tackle this task, sometimes we just need to do that. I know I need to do that. There are days when I'm completely depleted. And it's like, you know what, there's still 2 or 3 more things on that to-do list that I should do today. But am I going to give it my best? Probably not. And just being aware of that for our own kids. Sometimes they just need a break. So then that way they can tackle the task at their best. And think about it. These things are not what you're going to typically see in a curriculum. But it's so important. And it all needs to be discussed so often. And then the question comes, well, how are we going to do this? Right? I know you're busy. I know that you have a laundry list of things that needs done. Work, the school, homeschool, activities, sports, laundry, cooking, meal prep, all of those things. I totally understand. But the beauty of the EduPlay learning curriculum is that, of course, I teach the spelling, the grammar, the math, the reading, science, social studies, all of those things that you can expect. But also incorporate all of these little opportunities and the skills that truly matter. Think of things like all the time that you spend around the kitchen table or in the car. Those are the small moments that really matter the most. I know for us, I can't tell you how many conversations that we've had around the kitchen table. We've had educational moments. We've talked about science, math, history. You name it, we've talked about it. Emotional situations that have happened, we've talked about those there. how to behave in the store, how to interact with each other, how to react to a situation. All of those moments are the important ones. And they go on and on and on. And sometimes those small moments are the ones that get missed. But they are the ones that we need to lean into and say, those are the big ones. Those are impacting our family and the way we're raising our kids. Because what we want is we want that peace in our home. We want that confidence in our kids, the independence, the kindness. And how do those things happen? They don't just happen overnight. If you had a magic wand, would you want those things for your kids? Of course. We want our kids to be kind and confident, independent. We want our home to be filled with peace and ease and enjoy the journey. But how do we do that? By leaning into these small moments. And I just want to share that you're not alone. That if you really do want this for your kids, for your family, for your journey, you can have that. Sometimes we do get caught up on the to-do list and the checklists and all the things that we have to do. But it's okay to reflect and say, what is it that I really want for my kids? How can I build their confidence and their independence? You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to do it with intention. You have to take those moments and be intentional with them. Pay attention to your kids' behavior. Pay attention to the way we're speaking. Pay attention to how we're learning. I love seeing my kids on fire for learning. I remember walking into the living room one day and they had stacks of Berenstain Bear books. And they were so excited to read through the books and switch with each other and discuss the books and what lessons they learned. To me, that is so important. My kids are over here reciting the periodic table because they're excited to learn it. I didn't even introduce it to them, but they're excited to learn it. So we're going to dive into that. I want them to be on fire for learning. I want them to never stop learning because it's truly all around us. And if we can be teachable, and if we have that confidence to know that we can learn anything, there is nothing that's going to stop us. So if you're thinking, I want more of this, I want these skills. I want to know how to teach my kids how to be kind, how to teach them how to be independent, how to be confident. Well, I encourage you to check out the Home Education with Ease Collective. We're going to be launching in May, and I would love for you to be a part of it. Fill out the form in the show notes below, because this is a space where you're going to have a community to share your ups and downs of homeschooling, to share what's working, what's not working, to gain peace, clarity, and joy, and do it all with ease while I lead and guide you and share with you strategies that I've used to set my kids up for success and my students up for success, and how I can help you and your family as well. You're absolutely amazing. Your kids are amazing. And I want to walk alongside you on this journey. So be sure to check out that form in the show notes below. And also join the Home Education with Ease Facebook group and share your thoughts there. Share some of the things that you want your kids to remember in this season of life, during homeschool, the whole experience. And how are you building confidence and independence in your kids? See you next week. Thank you for tuning in to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I hope today's episode left you feeling empowered and ready to take the next steps on your home education journey. Your support means the world to me. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend. For even more resources, be sure to join the free Facebook group, Home Education with Ease, and visit eduplaylearning.com to explore programs and subscription kits. You can find the links and any other links mentioned in this episode in the show notes below. Remember, you're not alone. This community is here to support you every step of the way.